Transfers. Here we go. Our transfer guru, Alex Crook's got his notebook out. Are you listening to me now, yeah? your favourite part of the show.
This needs to be a good section, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
After I absolutely blanked you.
What transfers have we got?
Well, if I had £1 for every time we mentioned Enzo Fernandez, I probably would already be a rich man this transfer window. But it is the saga of January already. We know Benfica, very unhappy. We spoke about it yesterday because he defied their orders not to return to his native Argentina. He was there for New Year's celebration. Looks like he may now be back in Portugal. Not convinced he's training with Benfica this morning. So there's a hefty fine, I think, coming his way. But I'm sure the signing on fee that Chelsea are offering will swallow that up. The key here is the terms of the transfer fee. We know it's going to be in excess of his £105 million release clause. But Chelsea, as I mentioned yesterday, want to pay it in 3 instalments to try and get round their FFP limitations. The final call still to be made by the Benfica hierarchy. Enzo Fernandez has already agreed permanent terms. He's already checked out, basically. He thinks he's played his last game for Benfica, and as Scott Minto told us yesterday, it wasn't a particularly good performance if it was his last game. But I think this will happen, but we're just waiting for the final green light from Benfica. And I wonder if his antics might actually make them a little bit more determined to dig in for a bit
more money as well. Look, I hate when players obviously do this in terms of false moves, but I fully understand it sometimes as well. You just want to get to the place you want to get to. In terms of what Chelsea need, though, this is a good signing. Like everything else aside, in terms of his attitude, in terms of the fee, you look at that kind of midfield of Chelsea, it seems to be all over the place at the moment. We're not quite sure what's going on. Jorginho, they don't really fancy him. Mason Mount's been hit and miss this season. Kovacic has been injured. Kante. They do need some bodies in that area.
Not only bodies, they need quality and they need tenacity. And this is what this guy brings. You saw it in the World Cup. He was outstanding in the World Cup. And that's why Chelsea have obviously gone in and said, right, he's our guy. We want to pull the trigger. Managers, rubber stamped it. And they're going to spend that sort of money on him. He's going to be the linchpin in that midfield, that's for sure. You don't spend that money just to be a bit part. You spend that money to be the linchpin. And they see a player there who's going to be around for a number of years.
Crook, do you think this then closes the door on... We've been hearing about this potential transfer for a couple of years now. Do you think this closes the door on Declan Rice back to Chelsea?
Potentially, because he is more of that sitting midfielder, and we know that Chelsea are in talks not just with N'Golo Kanté about extending his contract, but Jorginho as well. I think at this stage it looks more likely that Jorginho possibly could move on, possibly could go to Italy. But yeah, I mean, you never say never with Chelsea, because Todd Boehly is literally chucking money around. He did it in the summer. He's doing it again. But yeah, it would be difficult to see how you fit all those players into the same team. The other interesting side story on this transfer actually is River Plate, former club for Fernandez. He only joined Benfica in the summer for 18 million euros. They're going to get about 25 million pounds by way of a sell-on from this deal. So that is tremendous.
Keep the price going up. Keep it going.
That is tremendous business for River Plate. Another transfer that I've been working on this morning, a bit of an odd one this actually, because he's not even a starter in a fairly average Leicester side, but Souness agreeing a pre-contract with Atletico Madrid. Looks like he'll be off there in the summer. I think actually Atletico would like to sign him now, but they would need to pay for him. But that pre-contract, we understand, close to being signed for Souness to go to Spain and link up with obviously one of the most defence-minded coaches in world football. So clearly he's seen something in Souness.
Could just work out for him.
You watch him improve.
Another player linked to a move to Spain is Wilf Zaha. I feel like Wilf Zaha almost is a bit like the Koulibaly story, where you say he was linked with a move every single transfer window. And look, he stayed at Crystal Palace, and Crystal Palace fans will be happy that he has stayed. Could he go? Well, we always hear Wilf Zaha being linked every single window, don't we? And I still think there's a fantastic player there. 30 now. He's not that kind of flying winger when he was 25, 26. Almost plays a different position now up front. But could he leave? And how serious is this?
It's not one that I've heard, I have to be honest. His contract is up at Palace in the summer. I think they have offered him a new deal. But as long as that doesn't go signed, obviously there's a risk they could lose him on a free transfer. So if somebody did come in and make a bid in January, they would have to consider it. Barcelona, though, I think they're in the same situation they were in the summer. I think they need to remove players from the wage bill, not necessarily add to them. There's been talk about Frenkie de Jong and Manchester United again. Don't even get me started on that one.
Another apology coming.
But yeah, I'm not convinced I can see Zaha at Barcelona. But genuinely, I think it's a flip of a coin whether he does extend his contract at Palace or not.
What do you think he should do, Kev? Zaha?
I think Zaha, what he should do...
Again, 30 years age.
Get to the summer and see what the options are. I think Crystal Palace have done right by Will Zaha, to be honest. They've offered him a contract and said, listen, you're our guy. You play in the team. You're our main talisman. But, we're going to allow you to run your contract down and you can see what's out there. And that's the best they can do. The contract's here if you want it. But, you're 30 now. You might still think, right, you want to go somewhere else and win something. Because ideally, if he's going to move, that's what he's moving to do. He's moving to win things.
Yeah, those short suitors as well. I mean, a free contract, Zaha. I mean, that was always the thing blocking other sort of teams from coming in, wasn't it? I think Everton tried, Tottenham tried, but the money was too much.
At one stage.
Arsenal tried as well.
Chelsea were keen in the summer.
To get him on a free, it's going to be good.
Arsenal.
You've got enough, haven't you? Southampton fan tweeted in and asked if there's any Southampton news. You got potentially some big news for Southampton. What's that?
Yeah, well, they're looking in two key areas, really. They want a centre-back. Possible they might even bring Jan Bednarek back on loan from Aston Villa. They want a forward as well. Danny Ings is one to keep an eye on. Former Southampton player. I'm told from reliable sources that Aston Villa wouldn't stand in his way this month if the club did come calling. Maybe a loan move, maybe even a permanent move away from Villa Park, because I think they want to provide some funds for Unai Emery to bring in his own players. Obviously had a really good spell at Southampton. He's Hampshire born, a Southampton fan. I think that would be a great signing for Southampton. If they could get him back, they sold him for decent money, £25 million, I think Villa paid when his contract to Saints was nearing an end. Bournemouth, I think, would want to be part of the conversation as well. He also had a spell there early in his career. And I think Danny Ings for any club down at the bottom of the table as a January addition, I think it's a no-brainer, really. Certainly
is. Some fantastic transfer news there. Quick one as well. Brighton have triggered Trossard's contract extension as well. A lot of rumours about Trossard potentially going. Looks had a fantastic start to the season. Looks like he will stay there for at least the foreseeable future, we're hearing.
Yeah, this is quite important because he was out. His contract is due to expire next summer. Brighton, I think, we're always going to take up this extra year's option. I think they're also in talks about a longer-term deal. But what it does mean is if we do get to a situation next summer where he does only have a year left on his contract, they can still demand quite a decent fee. Newcastle and Chelsea, the two clubs I'm told to keep an eye on.